Hello to everybody out in Maryland's beautiful 8th Congressional District. It's your Congressman Jamie Raskin coming at you this Friday, November 3rd. It's my favorite time of the week, Local Hero, when we get to profile the people who make life in our community so wonderful and so rich. And I've got a great local hero for you. I've chosen him because this weekend on Saturday, we're doing our U.S. Service Academy nominations interviews of just around 55, I think, students from Maryland's 8th Congressional District who are applying to go to the Naval Academy in Annapolis, or West Point, or the Merchant Marine Academy, or the Air Force Academy. And it is the responsibility and the privilege of each member of Congress to nominate young people from our district for these purposes. And because I have not served in the armed forces, and this is not my area of expertise, we've composed a panel of real experts who are willing to do all of these interviews for me and go through the extraordinary resumes of the young people in our district. And so my local hero this week is Colonel Jeremy Edwards, who's in his 4th year of doing this for your congressman. He's a colonel in the U.S. Army with 23 years of service, and he's an Army doctor. He was born in California to immigrant parents who came from Wales, and he went to college at West Point at the U.S. Military Academy there. He enrolled in medical school under the Health Professions Scholarship Program and completed his residency in pediatrics at Tripler Army Medical Center in Honolulu, Hawaii. He's completed fellowships in pediatric oncology and palliative medicine from 2022 to last year, 2022. Colonel Edwards served as the director for medicine at Walter Reed, during which time he was in charge of the COVID-19 response, including testing and vaccinations in the Army. This was a very exciting and stressful time for him. He took on the role at the end of last year of Command Surgeon and Assistant Chief of Staff for Medical Readiness Command East, the Army's medical command for all facilities in the continental U.S. East, which was, of course, east of the Mississippi River. 3 months ago, he was appointed as Chief of Staff of the new Defense Health Network East, which is part of the Defense Health Agency, the healthcare delivery arm of the military health system. This is the network responsible for the Army military treatments facilities, again, in the east part of the United States. He is a great public servant, and he's really been just a wonderful trooper in being willing to interview all of these young people and to bring his best judgment and wisdom to the task. For all of these things, Colonel Edwards, you are our local hero this week.
Thank you, sir.
And we very much appreciate your service. Say a word, because in my district, we've got USIS medical school for people in the military. And there are a lot of Army doctors and Navy doctors and other medics in the military in my district. But say something, if you would, about this as a pathway for people thinking about going to medical school, even if they don't have a background in the military.
Yeah, absolutely, sir. The Uniformed Services University of Health Sciences in Bethesda.
There we go. Thank you for that.
And it's on the same campus as Walter Reed, and it is the military medical school. It's called America's Medical School. But it also has programs for nursing, has program for enlisted to try and transition to physicians as well. It's a really great opportunity for anyone who's interested in medical school and also serving in the armed forces to get a fully accredited medical degree and then have a commitment to serve in the armed forces after that. You don't have to have a military experience to go there. Some of the students do, some don't. But it's you get taught all of that while you're there with some fantastic military unique curriculum, along with all of the standard medical training that's required.
I've met young people in that program who were in the military and then decided they want to go to med school. But I also met people who wanted to go to med school and learned about it and then began to open their mind to this possibility. What's your commitment if you go to med school through USIS, which is here in the 8th District, and you get out? How long are you serving? Are you just in the military indefinitely, or is it at least a 5-year commitment, or how does that work?
So it's about a 7-year commitment after you finish your initial training within the military, your residency training. It's a 7-year commitment following that.
Yeah. Well, you clearly have found it a very valuable career path to be able to serve in this way. And of course, you're not, I think a lot of times people just think about combat service, administering medical treatment to people in combat or people who've returned from the battlefield. But of course, you're helping families of people who are in the military as well, if they're on an Army base, for example, right?
Yes, sir. Absolutely. An important part of what we do in the military health system is beneficiary care as well. And though it's just as important to us as our active duty care. And so absolutely. And part of my role as a pediatrician in the military is to care for those beneficiaries, because we know that that's a huge important thing for our service members who are in harm's way to be able to know that their families are taken care of. So that's one of my main roles.
Yeah. Well, look, let's switch over to what's going to happen tomorrow when you get to participate in one of the interview panels for all of the young people who've come in. First of all, tell my constituents, if you would, a little bit about the process, since you've come to know it so well, and how it works, because people will often ask me, they say, oh, my son or my daughter may be interested in going to West Point or the Naval Academy. How do we do it? Can you give people a sense of the process?
Yeah, absolutely. I don't think it's changed too much since I went through mine, other than it got a little bit more electronic. But if you want to apply to one of the service academies, it's like applying to every other college, with the caveat of you need to have a nomination, either a senator, a congressman, vice presidential, or presidential nomination. And so that's a piece of the application where you need to apply to your local appropriate member of the House of Representatives or member of Senate to basically have them endorse your application to the academy. And there's some areas where there's really only a few people who go, or areas like yours, sir, where there's very close to the Naval Academy where there's huge numbers. Yes. And so it's a time-consuming process, because you're really looking at an applicant's whole file, looking at them not just academically, but looking at them personally, looking at their commitment to a service to the nation, and be it any one of the academies, Merchant Marine, Air Force, Army, or Navy. And so really trying to make sure that as an interviewer for you, that we take that responsibility very seriously to give you the best recommendations for who we feel, and I look at who I would want to serve alongside as an active duty member, and who I want to carry on kind of that tradition that we have. Yeah.
And we get really remarkable young applicants. And what impresses me is the diversity of the communities they come from, but also the diversity of experiences and talents they have. Maybe 50 years ago, it was just the people who were stars of the football team or something like that. But it's not just jocks, it's, across the board, right? People, who are athletically accomplished, but also people who are academically accomplished, people who are involved in the community, have demonstrated their patriotic commitment to Maryland and to America, right? It's a real diversity of applicants you see.
Yes, sir, absolutely. And really looking for those well-rounded applicants who are not just outstanding in one field, who really do have kind of the whole package. I know the day, my first day at West Point, it was called Our Day. And you sit down in this big auditorium and they say, look to your left, look to your right. Everyone in this room is a valedictorian or a salutatorian or a team captain or an All-American. You guys are all cadets now. And so it's a very humbling experience when you realize the crowd that you're in.
Yeah. It's always moving to see the young people in this context and in lots of other contexts, like our arts competition, who really want to be contributing to the community. Well, look, Colonel Edwards, to you and to all of your fellow Academy nominations interviewers. I've got just an amazing team of people, not just from the Army, from the Navy, the Air Force, the Marines, the Merchant Marines. People have been doing it for a long time. People who are just starting, people rotate in and out. I am just so grateful to all of you and to you for your service and helping me make this a process that has a lot of integrity and seriousness to it. And I know how much the young people get out of it, getting to interact with people who've had careers like yours. So thank you very much. You're a local hero. I hope all of your friends and fans and followers will send you an email to congratulate you on everything you do for us.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate the opportunity.